Art check.
Boom.
Round nine. Nine.
Yes.
3 weeks. All right. So
Yes.
we're here on the end of the third week.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah. End
times.
of the month. End of the third week. Is
Yeah.
it the end of the month or the beginning of the month? Oh, it's the first.
I don't know.
Wow.
Like we discussed on Wednesday, when my family's out of town, I lose all concept of time. I'm not. I have no idea what day it is.
Well, it is the first. So
Good
so
to know.
it's a Friday. So yeah. Um cool. Should we dip into it?
Yeah, let's jump in. Who wants to go first this time?
I feel like I went first last time, so
Okay.
let's start with you. Okay.
All right. So I spent probably more time than I should have doing a vlog the other day. I'm still trying to get one or two of those out a week in addition to this. And so I did that. And then I also did a little bit of figure drawing as kind of a warm up. I was trying to figure out like elbows because I still don't really understand how elbows work. So I was doing some of that. And then I laid out this page. This page I've been really kind of struggling with. And as you might be able to tell, what's going on here is this page is like a Frankenstein page that I've cobbled together from lesser pages. So what I'm doing is this is that long shot where
Got it.
yeah. So the opening book, as you open the book, this is the first spread, and what you'll see is that all three characters are here. They're just very small, and then as you open the next spread, the camera swoops down and pushes in on them. And so, I've been trying to make sure that this page or this spread, the one that I just inked and the one that I will ink soon, which is the last spread, that the setting makes sense because kind of my house and my pier and the little grove of trees were kind of jumping around because I wasn't paying attention. And so I'm just making sure that as the camera moves that my setting isn't disorienting. So I'm almost there. I've got to rotate that house to face us a little bit. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've done in the last 48 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot. All
Yeah.
right. Should I get into what I did?
Yeah. So
Uh,
what did you get up to?
all right. So I so far have not gotten quite as far as I was hoping last time, which will probably be a recurring theme because I usually shoot a little high.
Yeah.
But I did manage to get about like 80% of the first panel um, with tight pencils done. So that's the magenta pencils you're seeing. It's kind of a crazy thing, but doing like long scenic shots, like an overhead shot like this, it just takes a long time
Yeah.
to draw. And I have all the roughs worked out for it and stuff, but it's like, I think I was a little too loose with the first round of pencils, and so now it's just adding all these lines and detail and stuff. So hopefully tonight, that's my goal, is after this is over to kind of finish that up. Um, but let me see. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much.
Yeah.
There's not a ton else other than that that I've gotten accomplished. Uh,
Well,
other
that's a
than
lot though. I mean, I don't know if any of the viewers have done stuff like this, but that type of establishing shot, it pays off really well in storytelling, I feel like, but it also is massively time consuming. So I remember
yeah,
I have several Ryan Otley pages who draws Invincible or drew Invincible. I guess he's moving on to Spider Man now. But I noticed that every time, like he drew the CIA headquarters secret base like once, and then literally every time Kirkman called for that shot, he didn't draw it again. He just brought it back in. It still worked really well because he did it really, really well the first time. But
Nice.
yeah, super time consuming though.
Oh yeah, it's important when you're at the beginning of a chapter, but yeah, definitely definitely like anytime I have to do those establishing shots, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But it's like I think the older version of me when I was newer to illustration would have just picked like a more cropped, like zoomed in shot,
All right.
and been like, oh, that works, you know. But I think where I'm at now with this book, it's like whatever it takes to kind of tell it effectively and get the quality I want.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna spend the time.
Yeah.
Which
I think it's worth it.
yeah, I mean, I like it was inspiring to see what you did with the spread recently, where you had added all those like craggly rocks and all these details and stuff, and a lot of it's like I know when you're working on it, it usually feels like, do I really like? Is anybody really gonna? And
Right.
I think the fact that you stuck through it and actually did all that detail, it like really shows, and people will at least the kind of people you want to be impressed by it will be hopefully pretty impressed by it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's what we all hope. I remember Sean Gordon Murphy saying one time, there's kind of going around on Twitter, people were giving art advice and they're saying, hey, just remember, like people are going to look at these panels for like a couple seconds, so don't kill yourself. And he was like, yeah, my goal is actually to get people to look at the panels for more than a couple seconds. So
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought his point was well made, because he's like crazy detail on his backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I used to do a lot of like just straight floating heads, and still occasionally there's a floating head panel or two.
Yeah.
But I really try to include background and different elements and stuff into most of it because of the fact that, yeah, I just started. I think it was a wake up call of like, you gotta we all as artists have to kind of approach these things as though you're going to be the person reading it.
Right.
And for the person reading it, it's like I love when I get a graphic novel that I like read a spread and then I before I turn the page I want to like kind of look closely at all the art.
Oh yeah.
Or on the second read, you're like, oh, there's that cool thing they threw in here,
Right.
So yeah. All right,
Yeah.
should we get into challenges?
Yeah. So as far as challenges go, I have this problem I'm finding that is becoming more apparent as we're doing 3 live videos a week, and that I'm also trying to keep on top of a vlog and not let that get in the way of the art, is I can't stop tinkering with this stuff. And so like I've been on this quest for like a couple years to find like, and I think this is almost every artist I've ever met, but like to find like the perfect setup. Like I'm constantly like moving furniture around and trying different tools and stuff, but when it comes to like the video, the problem that I'm having is like I just can't stop trying things. And so my most recent video, it was kind of interesting. I've got this big giant green screen that one of my students, they're doing an internship, and so they lent it to me because they don't have anywhere to store it. And so I was playing with this huge green screen, but like instead of like, cutting this video together in like 30 minutes, I spent like 90 minutes because I was just like having fun, like keying stuff out. And it was, and I don't know that it really added much. I mean, it looks good, but like it still would have been a good video had I not done all of that. And so I think that's kind of a form of resistance is for me, is to like, I'm going to go down this research rabbit hole, or I'm going to like, try out 15 different camera setups, or I'm going to animate a new thing instead of the one that works perfectly fine. And so that's been kind of my struggle in the last couple of days, is just like getting distracted by all this stuff. And I think it's a distraction, but it also pays off later, like,
Yeah.
but also like at some point in time, I need to just nail down a solid template for what I do on YouTube and just stop spending so many hours, because I could get more done. And I don't know. I think I might be at the point where like it's incremental, the changes. So it's not, I'm not like gonna have like this watershed moment of quality.
Yeah.
So I'm like tweaking it just for the sake of tweaking it. That's been kind of my struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. So let's see. I mean, my struggle is definitely like I need to actually get back into doing fuller vlogs for YouTube, or more full vlogs for YouTube, and so that's something that I want to get back to. Um, but for me, it's really just um, it's just really crazy juggling all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And we're heading into rush season at my work, and so it's just like just trying to kind of maintain the energy and stuff like that. And I noticed like a few days ago um, that my energy was really waning. Like I'd be pretty exhausted when I got home, and you're usually pretty exhausted when you get home from work or whatever. But in this case, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I haven't worked out in a while. Like
Mm,
so I got back into that as a daily habit, and I have noticed like my energy return a little bit.
yeah.
And so I was able to kind of carve away, even though it may not look like it, but that panel I'm working on is probably about, you know, maybe 2.5 to 4 hours of work. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just like to do that required like sleeping a little less, and so
Right.
um, uh, surprisingly, like just having that extra exercise and that little boost, it's like a natural wake up kind of thing that happens, at least when I do it, because most of it's just like I just forget what it's the term is for it, but like that heart stuff, where you're just working, running, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Um,
cardio.
cardio,
Yeah.
exactly. So it basically gives you this little boost when you're done. Like
Right.
you feel like a burst of energy. So that's been good. That's one of the things that helps with that
Yeah.
struggle.
That's
But
good.
it's always going to be a struggle, I think. Um, Although, like you, I think there's got to be like I am looking for that perfect way, just to kind of make a system where I have a perfect amount of time and all of that stuff. Um, so okay, let's get into plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as plans go for me, I have 4 weeks before this kind of deadline that I've got for this book. So I need to have all of the pages inked in the next 4 weeks, and that means that I need to start and finish a spread this weekend, and then I need to finish 2 pages a week until the end. Some of those will be pretty straightforward. There's 4 of those pages that are actually about as complex as the one I finished a couple days ago, and so it's going to be a pretty breakneck pace. But I think it's doable. But it's a fairly intense pace for me because I'm used to at best about a page a week, and so to do 2+ pages a week is a lot. But that's my plan. If I can knock out the page that I've penciled this weekend, that'll put me at finishing 4 pages this week, which is more than I've ever done. And then if I can get like keep momentum next week, then I should be fine for the rest of the month. And then that'll mean that my book will be finished. I mean, barring the inking will be done, barring like I haven't decided what I'm going to do for color or anything. Before I go pick up my son, and then I will also have met the kind of deadline for this ArtLink 212 mentorship that I'm
Nice.
doing. So yeah, I just met with my mentor last night for a couple hours and kind of got a lot of that kind of planned out and everything. So I've got a track. A couple of those pages I've intentionally put off for several months because they're hard, and now I'm facing all of the hard ones that I put off. One spread is done. There's 2 more spreads that they're going to kick my butt, but they'll be all right because I've got a wrist brace now, so I can just sleep with that. So, how about?
Has that been helping at all? Like when, because you did mention that last time that you were trying that. Does it?
Yeah,
help?
yeah, it's great. It's a little uncomfortable to get used to, but yeah, I feel like I wake up and I normally have a lot of pain back in here and a lot of pain up here after I draw for 6 hours or something, a little noodling, doing hundreds of barnacles or something. But I've been waking up pain free, so that's pretty good. I also got this so that I'm using a mouse like with my hand up rather than like this.
Nice.
And so just a couple tweaks I think have really helped that.
That's awesome. It's funny. I guess the braces or whatever, like they seem a little less intrusive than the old ones.
Oh, okay.
When you were a kid, it's like I remember I'd sprain my hand or something playing basketball, and you get that crazy like brace thing that was just like I don't know. It was like
They're
a big
super padded,
tan colored. Yeah. It had like 5 straps and anyhow, the ones they have now, it really is pretty form fitting, but it is hard to get used to that little metal bit in there,
Yeah.
And it's a little uncomfortable just to I don't wear gloves a lot, so
right. And I have to fight the habit of just, I don't know, I feel myself pressing up against the two metal pieces.
Yeah.
Just testing them. Kind of like when you bite your cheek and you get a little thing there and you just keep tonguing it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to kind of, not fight those. And eventually I got used to just resting my hand inside of that. And it's helped a lot. It's been good. But yeah, they're way better than, I was in junior high and I busted my hand up and it was like this big giant thing.
Yeah.
It felt like it was bigger than a cast.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah.
So,
how about you? What are your plans for the next for the weekend, I guess?
well, my plan is definitely to finish the page by Monday. Yeah, I mean that would be my ultimate goal. So, and it should be achievable because there's a few plans. Like my son graduated his ABA therapy classes, and so we're gonna do a little party for him.
That's cool.
But other than that, it's a pretty free weekend, so I think I'll be able to start a little earlier and get more accomplished, which is kind of exciting.
Cool.
So that's the goal, is to hopefully get a little closer. It's that first panel's a beast though, and will probably be no easier when it comes to actually inking it. So
now
we'll see. Do
you use a brush typically? I know most of the time you're using a nib or microns, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to use a pentel pocket brush pen. So that I actually use for a ton of stuff. And then I do microns for a lot of the contour. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what I'm drawing. But it switches between the microns and the brush. When I do backgrounds and stuff, there's a lot of ruling lines and stuff. So usually that's done with a micron. But the fills and the detail, and if I hatch or something like that, that's usually all done with brush.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because I found that if you see my second chapter, that's more, I don't know what style you call it, but it's a lot more cross hatching. It's a lot more realistic than what I'm working in now. And that I do all that hatching with a brush because I just it's a lot speedier for me to do it with a brush than it would be for me to do with a nib or something.
I never would have guessed that. That's some serious control because those are really fine lines that you're doing.
Yeah, and it's a pretty fat brush too, so it's kind of weird. But I like having the medium size, the nib. It's just a tiny little guy. Yeah. But it's not like a 0 whatever or something. But I love these things. I used to use a Winsor Newton Series 7. Yeah. But I have this problem when it comes to brushes and I always forget what that's called, the metal thing on it.
think it's called a nib, isn't it?
No,
Or
the metal.
Oh, the
holder,
metal thing
the
on the
part-
brush. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
forgetting
know.
what that's called. There's a word for it, but anyhow, I had this problem of like I would always accidentally get some water in there when I'm cleaning it, and then it would just kind of eventually like get loose, and that's not fun to happen on like a Series 7 where it's like a $60 brush, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and then I also just like I like the fact that these are refillable and they're like they range from like $7 to $10, so you can just toss them when the if the hairs go bad or something, you can just toss it and
Yeah.
use another one.
Have you tried kuretake brush pens?
Yeah, yeah. Are those okay? So those have
They've got
is
different models. This one is synthetic, but
yeah.
it's called the Red Barrel. I like this one a lot. And then the other kuretake that I have, I can't remember what this one is called, but it's got like a super sharp point, like it's really long. I've got two of these, and actually one of them I tried to put a cartridge in it. So this is like a normal cartridge. Where's my other one? But there's like one of those like cartridges, and I just dip it in an inkwell, and you just crank this thing, and it like sucks the ink out, so you can like refill your cartridges instead of buying new cartridges. I haven't found a good ink that I like yet, because I really like the ink that's in the pre-made cartridges of these.
Yeah.
But I've been trying like Speedball, and it's a little thin for me.
Yeah.
And so I've got to experiment a little bit, because you've got to be careful with the cartridge based stuff, because if you go too thick, it clogs everything up.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, no, I'm always interested in what brush pens people are using.
Yeah, so like the kuretake like that I was familiar with, I think it was like the longer one, but I feel like it had a felt tip or something.
There's a kuretake 55. This has a fine tip on one end and a more broad tip on the other end.
And is it like bendy, like the tip of it? Yeah, yeah. So that's the one I was more familiar with. And then the big one that you squeeze. I don't know if that's a kuretake, but I don't like that one at all.
Yeah, I haven't tried.
It's good
those.
for fills.
I haven't tried those, but I've seen people load them with watercolor water.
Yeah, that's good for like sketching or fills, but I don't know. But I'm curious about is kuretake the ones that do they actually make? Because there's one that's very similar to the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, but it's like it uses actual sable.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that one I'm really curious about.
Yeah, kuretake has a sable hair brush.
Yeah,
but
I'm curious about that. But once again, it gets into that territory of if I blow that brush tip, then I'm gonna have to throw it away and get a new one, and that's no fun.
Yeah, because these are. I mean, other than the availability, I'm not sure why people go with Pentel. Because I was with Pentel for a long time. But the kuretake synthetic brush pens are about the same price. They're like $10-15. And they're way better. I like them a lot more.
I'm going to have to try one.
Yeah, but then the sable hair ones, those are like Winsor Newton prices. So you're like
oh yeah,
$30, $40, $50. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, I don't know. I should just try it, but at the same time, it's like it's $50. I could do a lot with that. So, and these are working fine. So I don't know.
Yeah,
back to
that's. I think it's like the inner cheapskate in me that like I do actually have a decent Series 7 that's at the size I like.
Yeah.
And I literally just leave it in the tube because I always feel just. I've used it maybe twice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to ruin it.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, that's a costly mistake, which is silly. All right. Well, dude, I know I got to check out kuretake again. It's like I've heard about that a lot from a lot of people. So
yeah.
I'm going to have to check it out.
I like them a lot. They also have, and I wish I understood what this said. But they also have these two, which I've tried recently. Some people got me this for Christmas, and one is like a, I don't know if it's gonna focus, but one is like a super sharp plastic point, and the other one is a sharp felt point, and these are pretty cool. If you watch the time lapse of that page that I posted on YouTube the other day, you'll see that I was actually trying these to fill, and they filled really well, which is surprising. Nice. But it's because, like, with a brush pen, if you go too fast, I get kind of that dry brush effect. But I couldn't outrun these. I could go pretty fast, and they would just keep up with it, and so I like that too. Can't remember what these are called though, but yeah, but these ones, they're the kind of the feud style brushes.
Nice.
So I was thinking the other day, I should get like a Kuretake t-shirt or something. I feel like Kuretake should owe me something for the amount of brushes that I've bought and promoted.
Yeah, you should send them an email and just say, hey, I'm going to be a spokesperson for your product. Because, like, that's the thing. If you believe in your product, why not?
Yeah, that'd be cool. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I feel pretty pumped. I think I'm excited to see. So you're aiming for a full inked page by the next time.
Yeah, two 11 by 17 pages before we meet again on Monday. So
awesome. You can do it, dude.
See. I think I can. I've got.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me is just getting the composition down, and the rest of it is just time.
Yeah, the time part is the struggle.
Yeah.
Although then again, like, the neat thing is once the composition's there, like, for instance, this tight pencil thing that I'm struggling with, it's gonna take less time when it comes to actually inking it. I mean, it'll take more time than inking the other panels, but it's not going to take as long to ink as it does to pencil. Like, that's just the way it always goes for me.
Right.
But once you have that groundwork, and, like, the more solid your foundation, the easier it is to build on, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've burned through. I'm on my third audiobook for this week. So I've had some time at the table. I read the Notorious RBG, The Handmaid's Tale, and now I'm in the middle of this book called Circe. It's like,
nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of outstripping my my Audible account.
Handmaid's Tale was a good book. I like read it. It's like 2 months ago. And it was super. It was a page turner. You know, an audio page turner because I don't. I was listening to it, but that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's cool. I think right now I'm in the middle of Everlasting Man by G.K. Chesterton, and because I just got on a Chesterton kick because my wife was watching this show that's based on, like, a detective that I'm blanking out on the name of, but it's, like, written by G.K. Chesterton, and I was like, oh yeah, he wrote a lot of books, so pick one of those up. But I'm excited. Speaking about books, there's a series called Off to Be the Wizard, and it's called the Magic 2.0 series. It's by this writer Scott Meyer. It's seriously, like, if you're into humor, and especially, like, Douglas Adams-ish humor,
cool.
It's super hilarious. And the next book in that series is coming out, like, in a week, and so I have it pre-ordered. It's one of the few series whenever there's a new one coming out, I get all excited about it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out. All
right. Well, we're going well over.
We are,
I think. So, cool. Well, so I guess I'll see you on on Monday, correct?
Yep. I'll see you on Monday. Do you want to take us out this time?
Sounds good. So the intro art was done by me. You can check out my stuff at quarterlystories.com. Oh, and me is Joshua Kemble. And then Cory, you're on his channel. So if you're not subscribed, you should hit the subscribe button on his YouTube. And the intro animation was done by him, and you can check him out at corykerr.com. And also watch his latest video and see all that cool stuff he did with the green screen. And intro music is by my band, No Saboteurs, and you can check that out at that Facebook link. And that'll do it. We will see you guys I was going to say next week, but we'll see you Monday.
Yeah. All right.